Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Alex Kramer. It's now time to get you caught up with some rapid reactions. Well, the theme of today's reactions is scandal, from political scandal to celebrity scandal. First, Congressman Madison Cawthorn lost his seat last night in the North Carolina primary following a series of scandals, accusing members of Congress of pretty scathing things. Now, he ended up losing the seat to Chuck Edwards and tweeted his congrats, calling for a rally to defeat the Democratic nominee. And people react with various jokes and opinions, like this user who called this, quote, a warning shot to any member who wants to speak out about cocaine and orgies. Meanwhile, in the highly controversial and watched defamation trial of Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, Depp's lawyer, Camille Vasquez, took to questioning Amber Heard for the cross-examination, and she did not hold back. Take a listen.
Sitting here today, you have not donated the $7 million, donated, not pledged, donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity.
I use pledge and donation synonymous with one another.
But I don't. Ms. Heard, I don't use it synonymously.
Well, her delivery has gained her quite the cult following, but supporters of Amber Heard were not so pleased, with reactions like this one, saying her strategy was to deny and attack Amber Heard. But ultimately, she seems to be pretty popular with fellow lawyers, complimenting her measured tone, command of the facts, and belief in her client. Rob?
Ask people to send in the ballots?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All right, Alex, thank you. We got a lot of moving parts here in studio this morning as we unpack what happened yesterday. 5 states holding primary elections yesterday. And the results, well, they're spilling over to this morning because that all-important Pennsylvania Senate race that's gotten a ton of national attention, still too close to call as you wake up this morning. This race, a lot of people thought there could be a Kathy Barnett upset, but that did not end up happening. Dr. Mehmet Oz and businessman, veteran David McCormick in a dead heat, neck and neck right now, razor-thin margins. The two candidates separated by just over 2,500 votes. The key to this is going to be those mail-in ballots.
Yes, yeah, and David McCormick obviously getting a lot of those mail-in ballots, as Mark Halperin was saying. And typically, when you start seeing the mail-in ballots from one candidate, you're going to they're probably going to have the majority of them. But again, I think a lot of people are hoping we wake up, we know who the winner is. But you know, we were talking about this, and we do want to now bring in Paris Dennard, who is the R-N.C. national spokesman and director of Black Media Affairs. Paris, welcome. Good morning.
Welcome back, Paris.
Good morning.
Of course,
to see you both.
Yeah, Seem. All right, let's break this down. What are you expecting from a probable recount in Pennsylvania?
You know, the R-N.C. has to remain neutral in terms of all of our GOP primaries. But what we know at the end of the day, we are so excited about the turnout that we have seen in so many of these races, especially in Pennsylvania. The GOP voters there are excited, they're motivated, and that is why you can see such high turnout, number one, but also these close races was going to result possibly in the recount that we're going to see happen. And so what we are encouraged by is the fact that our voters are mobilizing, they're engaged, and they want to make a difference in their communities and for their families. That's why you see such record-breaking turnout numbers for Republican candidates.
Paris, what does that say about where the American people are right now, that we're seeing such high numbers? You know, people don't, this is an off-year primary, and yesterday, Dr. Oz and David McCormick, just those two candidates alone, both have over 400,000 votes. Pennsylvania is a big state, but that is a huge number. What does that say about the midterm elections, which are now 173 days away, just about 5.5 months away?
What that tells us about the midterm elections is that Republicans are excited to be engaged in the process. They have seen for a little over 2 years now the destruction that the Biden-Harris administration has plagued on this nation. And they see the policies that are being pushed by the Democrats that control the House and the Senate, and they want change. Voters want change, and Republican voters are sending a clear signal to the Democrats, to Nancy Pelosi, to Chuck Schumer, and to President Biden. Your days of being in control are numbered because Republicans are motivated to take back the House, take back the Senate, and eventually take back the White House.
Paris, I want to welcome in political analyst Mark Halperin, who is also with us this morning. He says, particularly when it comes to this race between Dr. Oz and David McCormick, that the mail-in ballots are going to be the key. Mark?
I want to ask you, good morning. I want to ask you a question about one of your North Carolina races. You lost an incumbent, Madison Cawthorn. Why do you think he lost?
Madison Cawthorn lost because the people of his district wanted to put someone else in. That's the beauty of democracy.
Paris, you should be on a ballot. That was an answer right there. Yeah, that was a good answer. No, but this guy's embroiled in a lot of controversy. Apparently, he was reprimanded by Kevin McCarthy on more than one occasion. But think about where North Carolinians were in the 11th district 2 years ago when he was elected. I mean, this guy was beloved. They were looking at him as maybe a future Senate candidate. Now he's 26 years old. He's going to be looking for a job.
Well, the other thing is, just as a reminder to every single candidate, you have to be present in the district. You have to be knocking on doors. You have to be providing for your constituents. And it doesn't matter if you're if you've been in Congress for 1 term or 13 terms. You've got to be engaged and do what the people want you to do.
And behave yourself.
That's what happens in
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And everyone, Democrats especially, they need to behave themselves because the out of control spending, the policies that they're pushing, is just not going to work. And you're going to see a lot of the Democrats get voted out, as well as the fact that you're going to see probably a lot more decide not to run. There's over 30 some odd Democrats who've said they're not even going to run for re-election because they know the writing is on the wall. The Democrats are not putting forth policies that are working for the American people.
Absolutely. All right, Paris Dennard, always great to have you. Thank you for breaking this down for us this morning. We appreciate it.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.